Today we're making adorable cookie dough hearts. These sweet treats can be made ahead of time, there's no baking involved, and they're absolutely perfect for any Valentine's Day celebration. My name is Tessa and I'm from handletheheat.com, where I love to share sweet treats with a sprinkling of baking science. And before we dive into this recipe, be sure to find that bell near the subscribe button to get notified each and every time I post new baking videos every week. So to get started, we're making edible cookie dough. There are no eggs involved in this recipe, no baking, and what we'll do is take that cookie dough and dip it in chocolate. So in my mixer here, I'm going to add in a stick of butter, light brown sugar, just a little bit of granulated sugar, and we're going to give that a mix. Now, I like to use way more brown sugar than granulated sugar in this recipe because I think it really gives that chocolate chip cookie dough flavor and texture. Okay, so my dough has been beating for about 2 to 3 minutes. It's nice and light and fluffy, so now I can add in a couple more liquid ingredients. Since we're not using eggs in this recipe, I'm just adding a little bit of milk. You can use any kind of milk just to loosen up this dough. And next up, some vanilla extract. Give that a quick mix and we'll add our dry ingredients. So we've got some all-purpose flour, a little bit of salt, and then mini chocolate chips. And give that one last mix. All right, the dough is ready. Now we'll move on to the next step. So I've got a piece of plastic wrap down on my work surface and I'm just going to dump the cookie dough down onto that. Now with my hands, I'm just going to flatten out the dough into about 1/2 inch thickness. All right, so I'm just going to wrap my dough up in the plastic wrap and then send it off to the freezer for about 15 minutes or until it's nice and firm. And then that will make shaping the heart shapes even easier. So my dough's been chilling for about 15 minutes. It's nice and firm, so it'll make it much easier to cut out my heart shapes. I'm using 2 different size heart-shaped cookie cutters right now. You can use any size or shape you want, but I'll go ahead and link to some heart-shaped ones down below. I like to keep them smaller because it makes it easier to dip in the chocolate, and the amount of cookie dough hearts that you get from this recipe will depend on the size and shape of cookie cutter you use. So as I cut out my hearts, I'm just going to place them on a parchment-lined rimmed baking sheet, and this is going to be my work surface for when I freeze these hearts and then dip them in chocolate. So the trick for dipping these in chocolate in the cleanest, easiest way is to get them really cold. So I'm actually going to send my cookie dough hearts to the freezer and let them chill in there for about 15 minutes while I melt down my chocolate. So for the chocolate coating, I have some freshly chopped semi-sweet chocolate. And I like to use fresh chopped chocolate because it melts down more smoothly than chocolate chips. And to that, I'm just going to add about a teaspoon of coconut oil. And the reason I'm doing this is because the coconut oil will melt into the chocolate. You'll barely be able to taste it, but what it will do is allow the chocolate to harden into a nice crisp coating on the outside of the cookie dough, as opposed to having to go through the process of tempering chocolate, which you could also do here, but it's a little bit more advanced and involved. And if you want to learn how to temper chocolate, I'll go ahead and link to that video down below. Now, the other option, if you don't want to use coconut oil, is you can use the same amount of shortening, or you could just use chocolate candy melts instead. But I like the taste of real chopped chocolate. So I'm just going to microwave this in 30-second bursts, stirring between every burst until it's melted and smooth. All right, so my chocolate is all melted and smooth. It looks absolutely silky and amazing. So now we're ready to dip the cookie dough hearts into the chocolate. Now, I'm gonna get a little fancy here and use some chocolate dipping tools, which you can buy on Amazon. I'll link them down below. If you don't have one of these, you can of course use a fork. You just want to use something that will allow all of the excess chocolate to drip off back into the bowl of chocolate. That way you end up with really nice, smooth, clean, professional looking chocolate hearts. So what I'm going to do is just take one of my hearts, place it on my little fork here, and dip it into the chocolate. I'm going to make sure to cover it completely. And then what I like to do is actually tap it against the side of the bowl to allow the excess chocolate to drizzle back into the bowl. And then I'm going to gently place it back on my parchment-lined baking sheet and repeat this process for the rest of my hearts. Now, they will take about 10 to 15 minutes to set and allow the chocolate to harden. You can speed up that process by refrigerating these, but before the chocolate hardens, if you wanted to add some decorative sprinkles for Valentine's Day, you can do that while the chocolate is still melty before it hardens. Or after the chocolate hardens, you can also decorate with some white chocolate if you'd like to make some XOs or some more hearts, or decorate however you like. All right, so my chocolate hearts are all covered and decorated. They look so cute and amazing. Every bite has that crisp chocolate coating on the outside with that cookie dough on the inside. I think you're really gonna love this recipe. If you do give it a try, be sure to comment below and let me know how it goes. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more baking videos every single week, and I'll see you next time.